Hello, my friends. Havoc here, and I wanted to talk about some Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I played this over the start of this week, and I had a very mixed experience, to be quite honest. And even though I haven't finished it now, I have gone most of the way through it and spent at least 15 hours in the game, so I've got a pretty good grasp of how it works. However, I did not end my session with Indiana Jones on a high note. There was a lot of issues that I'm going to detail here. But first, the positives. From the start, this is a genuine and authentic Indiana Jones experience. It feels like Indy from the start. The vibes are immaculate. And even though there's some awkward facial capture here and there, uh, it was great to basically live out to the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark right at the start. And that really puts you in the mood and puts you in a position of being like, hey, this is the Indiana Jones game that we probably deserve, right? And honestly, it being in first person enhanced this, which I thought would actually pull back on it and be a detriment, because if you're playing as Indiana Jones, why wouldn't you want to see Indiana Jones, right? You want to see this bro knocking out Nazis. You want to see this dude picking up random objects, smacking people upside the head, unlocking secrets, finding, ciphers and doing all this. But I was really happy and surprised to see that not any of that was lost in translation going to first person, because this game really fills the shoes of Indiana Jones in a certain kind of way. This game isn't what I expected at all. I kind of expected Wolfenstein, but a little pulled back, obviously, because that game is nuts. But with some Dishonored in there, and for the most part, I was right. But I did not realize how immersive a sim this game was going to be. And I didn't realize how Dishonored it'd be either, because there are so many different ways to tackle different things in this game, man. It is so fun. And there are so many secrets, so many puzzles everywhere. Especially when you start getting your camera and start hunting down different things that you can take pictures of to get points to upgrade, of which this game ties Indy's upgrades to how much you have been exploring, to how much you've been discovering things and really diving into the lore inside the game that they've built. And honestly, with the great spiderweb of choice and storyline progression, it almost all feels like it's all story related, because a lot of the side quests tie into the main quest so neatly. And lastly, for the positives, I want to talk about how beautiful this game is. Even on a very mixed amount of settings, between medium, high, and ultra on things that, didn't bring my frames down too much, this game is beautiful. From the environments to looking out in the distance when you're up top of something and just seeing the skybox and everything, and the detail on all of the artifacts that you find, and even the detail in the characters that are walking around sometimes and you're just having conversations. You can listen to these conversations and learn about the area you're in, and maybe stumble upon more secrets by listening to them. But for every good thing, there was something that was driving me nuts, and every one of those things has to do with performance on PC. So this is a very mixed bag. Some people are reporting that there are no issues. It just runs flawlessly on even 20 and 30 series cards. And that's great. Medium settings to high and you're running great. This game is very, very heavily VRAM coded and dependent, because as long as you are maintaining memory limits within the VRAM limit of your graphics card on PC, this game runs great at a nice high frame rate. But the thing is, there's no real good way to gauge each area and be like, hey, this area is going to be like just as heavy as the last, right? And it should be a very consistent experience. No, some areas you will reach this VRAM cap immediately. Like, and when you hit that cap, you will not be hitting even 30 frames per second. You will hit a like low 6 to 9 frames per second. Even if you're just a tad over the VRAM thing, it's super dependent. And so in the beginning of the game, it was fine. It was at 60, but it was kind of choppy, so I had lowered things. But I still had some stutters here and there, and even some visual artifacts with, like, I don't know, separate frame rendering in quite oddly from the rest, and just giving me a flash of a different image every now and again. And just some bugs here and there, which, you know, the bugs aren't a big deal in this one. There are some facial animation things that aren't working right. Some AI will just kind of stand in front of you like a bumbling idiot while you beat them over the head. And some of the AI is just brain dead on that part. But the performance side was really what got me. No matter what I did, no matter what I set it to, I could not get this game to play without stutters. Like, even when I was playing this at 100 frames per second at like medium high settings, I have a 4070, 32 gigs of RAM, and an i9. I should be running this game pretty darn well at medium high settings. High ultra settings is where I should be expecting to be. I mean, I can play Cyberpunk at almost 100 frames per second with path tracing on, right? But the moment I turned path tracing on this game, there was no play in this game. Even with DLSS, even with all of that, it was not happening. So I would recommend waiting for this game a little bit until some optimization hits, or a more clear gauge of what graphics cards belong where, right? And I have seen a lot of people with 40 series cards in general having issues, which has kind of been a thing lately, where I've seen certain games just have issues with implementation of the tech in the 40 series cards with DLSS 3 and 3.5 and things like that. And some people can't even get the game to boot up on some of their 4070 models. There are many reviews in the Xbox app on PC, which I looked at, which this game sits at like a 3.3 last time I saw, and most of the complaints come down to performance, you know. And everyone says, hey, this looks like a great game, but oh, the hell with us, we're on PC, we ain't playing this. And I kind of get that. And to people who have like really nice, maybe like 4080s or 90s, I have no doubt this game runs like a dream, because you have the VRAM to support it. But even when I lowered the texture pool size on the 4070 that I have down to low medium, which should be where you are using like an 8GB card, it was still running super terribly. Stutters constantly. It would freeze. I would see, you know, massive frame drops depending on what area I was standing in, especially the big first open area where you are going undercover as a priest, which was one of the highlights of the game for me, honestly. It was great. And like I said, the game is great when you can play it. But like, when I was playing it, it was just constantly stuttering, constantly having these issues, and I found myself just in the menu too darn much and not able enough to stay in the game and stay immersed, of which was a darn shame, because this game is so immersive. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off on finishing this game, because I haven't hated what I've played. I've actually really enjoyed it. But it's just been too darn rough, you guys. I had to call it here. However, I may just get the physical edition on PlayStation when it comes out. And so maybe I'll report to everyone how that's going on PlayStation when it comes out. That might be pretty fun. But anyway, this has been my news on how Indiana Jones and the Great Circle went for me. And it was not that great of an experience, to say the least. And to be honest, this kind of worries me because there seems to be a trend of Game Pass games just not working anywhere near the same capacity as the same games on different platforms. And I don't know what it is about what they're doing over there, but they need to fix this issue because even when Remnant 2 dropped, the Xbox games app version of Remnant 2 did not work properly. The Steam version worked fine, still had issues, but it was playable. And this is just another one of those things. So hopefully Xbox gets their things together and fixes this because I don't want to wait until it comes out in 2025. I would like to finish this story because it is really good. It is one of the best indie stories and indie like experiences since the original trilogy. And that's the only trilogy, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. How is this working for you guys? What are your guys' thoughts on this game? And what are you even playing right now? Are you still playing Indiana Jones? Because it's pretty darn long, I hear. Are you into Marvel Rivals right now? Because I'm super into Marvel Rivals. Or are you still playing Baldur's Gate 3? Because that game is fan-freaking-tastic, and I'm only halfway through it now, but I totally get why everyone loves it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let's have a conversation. I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.